What's crack-a-lackin'? Welcome in to My Mind is a Weapon Fantasy Football Show.
Welcome into episode 76, everybody. I am your host, SleezBall. Today's episode is going to be my wide receiver tiers top 32 rankings heading into week 5. And remember, guys, there's 4 teams on a bye: Chargers, Lions, Titans, and the Eagles. So make sure all of them are out of your rosters. And if you guys want to check out my waiver wire video, running back rankings, QB rankings, those are all up. And before we dive into it, guys, helps me out a ton. Make sure you smash that like. Make sure you smash that subscription button. Turn that bell on so you know when I'm live. I'll be live only Thursday, Friday this week. I will be heading to the San Francisco 49ers game Saturday, and then we're going to stay the night Saturday and then go to the game Sunday. So there won't be any live streams, so I'll be doing it all Thursday and Friday. So if you guys can't make those live streams, make sure you drop any comment you want. It does not have to relate to this video. Any fantasy football question, trades, rosters, whatever it is, I try to answer them all as fast as I can. My goal is to help you win your weekly matchup and get that ultimate goal of a championship, guys. And let's dive into it. So, guys, here is my board for week 5 wide receivers. You're going to see the ballers tier. These are my must-start ball-out wide receivers. Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3, Tier 4, Tier 5. I'm going to go all the way through my top 32 rankings in one shot here. Now, on the bottom right, you're going to see the guys that are out with buys. So you have Calvin Ridley, D-Hop, A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith. You're also going to have Lab McConkey and Quentin Johnson. I didn't put them up there, but they're also out on the buy. And over here on the left, you're going to have the hurt guys and Devontae Adams, man. We don't know what is going on with him right now. I mean, right now, supposedly, it looks like a trade is going to happen, or a trade is not going to happen, or he doesn't want to play for the Raiders, so I do not have him in my rankings this week, guys, which is very, very strange to me right now that the Raiders are 2-2 and he wants out of there. So, heading into my number 1 in Tier 1 here this week, it is going to be Jamar Get Silly Chase for the 3rd time in a row here. And, guys, they get the Baltimore Ravens defense here. Now, the Baltimore Ravens defense versus the pass before last week was absolutely one of the worst. I mean, they were giving up 300 yards a game. Now they are ranked at 24th, giving up 36.1 points to the wide receiver position, 6.4 in the red zone, ranking 18th, and 163.2 yards per game to the wide receiver position alone. But it was kind of an aberration game versus the Buffalo Bills, so their numbers skewed way up. Before that, they were really struggling versus the pass. And I see this as another smash Jamar Chase game here. Number 2 is going to be CeeDee Lamb. And he draws a very, very tough matchup here. I know he shredded the New York Giants on Thursday Night Football. That's a given. That's the New York Giants. Now you get the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers ranked 9th versus the wide receiver, allowing 27.2 points, 2.5 in the red zone, ranking 8th. They're top 10 in both versus the wide receiver, and they only allow 142.5 yards to the wide receiver position. It's still CeeDee Lamb. It's still volume galore with how good Pittsburgh is versus the run this year. I don't see the Cowboys running at all. If any in this game, maybe 10, 12 carries. It's going to be a full Dak pass attack, and you can't shut CeeDee Lamb down for that long. Number 3 is going to be Jettas, just the best wide receiver in football. And he gets this like weird New York Jets matchup here versus you're going to get Sauce Gardner and DJ Reed. But again, when it comes, like both these CeeDee Lamb and Jettas have very, very tough matchups. And if I'm looking at the New York Jets defense, it's the same thing. They rank both in the top 10, 25.6 points given to the wide receiver, that ranks 7th, and 3.7 in the red zone, that ranks 10th. And only 100 yards on the season at the wide receiver position. But, they played the Broncos last week. They've, not many yards in that game, so it kind of skews their defense up even more. But Justin Jefferson, I'm still putting him in the ballers here, even if the matchup is tough. He's just the best wide receiver in football. Number 4, here comes my crazy call of the week, guys. Garrett Wilson. So Garrett Wilson finally, for the first time in the season of 2024, does not draw a top corner matchup or defense here. So week 1, 49ers, Tre'Davious Ward. Week 2, Tennessee, Snead. Week 3, Christian Gonzalez, Patriots. Week 4, Patrick Surtain. All top corners in a row. He gets the Minnesota Vikings now, and the Minnesota Vikings defense, guys, just got shredded by Jordan Love for over 32 fantasy points. Jaden Reed, 8. Dontavian Wicks, 8. They are 29th on the season versus the wide receiver position, allowing 44.2 points, 8.4 points in the red zone, ranks 24th, and they give up 221.5 yards to the wide receiver position. I expect this to be the big Garrett Wilson game we've all been waiting for this week. Number 5, Malik Neighbors. Looks like concussion protocol here since they played on Thursday night, usually it's a week. He may be out there. Again, pay attention to updates on this. I think he's going to be out there. I will comment and let you guys know in the comments, later on if he's not or whatever it is. I'll pin a comment on there. But for now, I'm going to assume that he's out there versus Seattle Seahawks. Seattle Seahawks currently are ranking 8th versus the wide receiver position, allowing 25.9, 5.1 points in the red zone. That ranks 16th and 105.8. But if you just saw what the Lions did, that was the first time Seattle played anybody good. So I've kind of called them frauds. They played Bo Nix, they played Jacoby Brissett, and then they played Skylar Thompson. So their defense looked immaculate versus the pass. And then they played a juggernaut like Lions and just got shredded. So I think Malik Neighbors can absolutely torch this secondary, even though it looks good on paper. Number 6, another big one, baby. Jayden Reed. Jayden Reed is just that guy with the nose for the end zone. No matter what happens, it seems like he gets in every single game. It doesn't make sense to me. And now you have Christian Watson down. Looks like he's not going to go to IR, but he'll be out 2 to 3 weeks here. And you have to look at it like this. Look at Jayden Reed with Jordan Love at quarterback. Week 1, he was wide receiver 1, 37 points. Week 4, he's wide receiver 3 with 28 points. And he finds the end zone in both games with Jordan Love. Now you get the Los Angeles Rams, guys. The Los Angeles Rams defense ranks 23rd versus the wide receiver, allowing 35.9. They also rank 21st in the red zone, allowing 7.1 and 150 yards to the wide receiver position on a weekly basis. And they're so beat up with injuries. Jayden Reed is one of my favorite smash plays this week. Heading out of tier 1, number 7 here is going to be Marvin Harrison Jr. And he draws Tre'Davious Ward in the 49ers here. I know he was out there without Trey McBride last week, and the Cardinals look like they kind of struggle, which, kind of shows to me that Trey McBride is the focal point of this offense. Looks like he's going to be back out there with the concussion. Should be out there this week. Again, pay attention to the updates on him. I'll get to that in my tight end video. But Marvin Harrison, man, is just absolutely electric, but I don't think he's, ready yet for that full, wide receiver 1 role kind of as a rookie yet. He doesn't know how to carry the baggage yet, even though he's had 33, 17, and 15 over the last 3 games. He's absolutely balling. I mean, he's averaging 8 targets a game here. And he's going to see the same amount of volume here again. It's going to be a tougher matchup versus the 49ers. That's why I don't have him in the top tier. Nico Collins, number 8, man. So this is going to be a really tough one here because this guy is absolutely balling this season. I was completely wrong on him 100%. I thought that it'd be more of a Tank Dell, Stephon Diggs show. It is Nico Collins. But you get the Buffalo Bills, man. This Buffalo Bills defense has been locked down on every single wide receiver. They rank 2nd versus the wide receiver position, 20.4 points given up, 3.2 in the red zone. That ranks 9th in the top 10 there as well. And they only give up 86 yards a game to the wide receiver position. That is tough, guys. So when I'm looking at Nico Collins, I'm going to do them all here. 1, Stephon Diggs is my 2nd in tier 4. And Tank Dell as the end of tier 4. And I feel like they're just in for a very, very tough matchup here versus the Bills. It's going to be more of a run-heavy attack from Joe Mixon. If you saw what the Ravens did with Derrick Henry, they pounded the run. You didn't see Zay Flowers. You didn't see Mark Andrews. I'm not saying that the Ravens offense competes with these 3 wide receivers, but I think it's going to be a tougher show for these wide receivers this week. Number 9, Declan DK Metcalf was 1 yard short of a touchdown last night. This man he even had a 2-point conversion that he had to catch for. They didn't challenge. That could have been good. It looked good. His knee was down. I mean, DK Metcalf is just on another planet this season. He's going to be a top 5 wide receiver overall by the end of the year. And now you get the New York Giants. Look what CeeDee Lamb just did to the New York Giants, right? Absolutely torched them. And the offense is starting to click with Ryan Grubb here. I absolutely love the way the Seahawks look. Even though they lost to the Detroit Lions, they showed a lot of life in that game. Now, the New York Giants rank 16th, giving up 32.4 points to the wide receiver position. In the red zone, they give up 5.2, ranking 17th, and they allow 124 yards on the season to the wide receiver position. DK Metcalf is going to absolutely feast in this game. Number 10 is going to be Chris Godwin. And yes, I have Chris Godwin above Mike Evans. I've had him above Mike Evans all year long. Chris Godwin, I said, would outscore Mike Evans. We are on track. Now, Thursday night football here, you get the Atlanta Falcons. Their defense is very good. Their numbers are very skewed because the Falcons have played 4 straight contenders in a row, and now they're playing a 5th playoff team in a row. They've had a very, very tough draw to the season. They're still hanging in there. They rank 18th versus the wide receiver, 32.8 points. But in the red zone, they really struggled, 9.2, and they give up 29th. That ranks 29th, so almost bottom of the barrel there. And they allow 142 yards per game to the wide receiver position. Now, why I like Godwin more than Mike Evans. So I'll put Mike Evans up. I have him right at my tier 2, number 2 here. And I like him more because you have AJ Terrell, who's the lockdown corner, who should be shadowing Mike Evans for at least 50 to 60% of the game. Simmons and Bates, the safeties over top to cover the Mike Evans deep ball. They've been locking down the deep ball all year. And Chris Godwin should feast in this game across the middle. And I like Chris Godwin to smash in this week, honestly, a ton. Heading into number 11 here, Amari Cooper gets the golden ticket, guys. Gets the Washington Commanders. Now, the Washington Commanders rank 32nd versus the wide receiver, 46.1 points to the wide receiver position, 14.1 points in the red zone. That's 32nd in the NFL. I know they just held the Arizona Cardinals last week, so it kind of helped their numbers out a little bit, but they still give up 175 yards to the wide receiver position, and their defense just can't stop anybody. And this is going to be a big-time Amari Cooper, Jerry Jeudy game. I didn't get Jerry Jeudy in the top 32, but he would be right on the fringe for me as well. I like him a lot in this game as a flex play also. Number 12, and we'll do them both. So number 12, end of tier 1 is Deebo Samuel, and my start of tier 2 is Brandon Ayuk. And they get the Arizona Cardinals. And the Arizona Cardinals just gave up 42 points to the Washington Commanders, and the Washington Commanders offensive line is ranked in the bottom of the tier. The 49ers, this is a different beast, different juggernaut here. And the Cardinals ranked 20th versus the wide receiver, giving up 34 points. And in the red zone, they're ranked 27th, giving up 9 points a game. And they give up 151.2 yards to the wide receiver. I expect Purdy to be absolutely feeding Jordan Mason, Ayuk, Debo, all of them, Kittle. Everyone's going to eat in this game versus Arizona. I love all the 49ers in this game. Heading down to number 15, Drake London gets the Kansas City Chiefs. And the Kansas City Chiefs are sneaky good versus the wide receiver. They're ranked 11th, giving up 28.8. But in the red zone, this is where the problem is. In the red zone, the Chiefs ranked 28th, giving up 9.2. They only allow 113 yards to the wide receiver position on the season. But now you have to look at it as the Chiefs are beat up everywhere. They're probably not going to move the ball at the same rate without Rashee Rice. When you saw in the Chargers game last week, it was very ugly. Kareem Hunt even came in and did a little bit. Drake London should be able to feast in this game. I'm not going to say his cornerback matchup is that tough, but he doesn't shadow. They doesn't move him all over the place. Drake London should be a smash play in my top 15 wide receivers this week. Number 16, DJ Moore gets the Carolina Panthers. I mean, if freaking Caleb Williams doesn't wake up in this game, the Carolina Panthers defense is awful versus the wide receiver. They're awful versus the quarterback. They're awful versus the run. Everything here is a smash play for the Bears. So I'm going to pull up Keenan Allen here too as well because he's on my board in the top 32. We'll talk about both Bears here. Keenan looked like he was coming off the foot injury, a little struggle last week. Didn't have a great game. But the Carolina Panthers guys give up 34.2 points per game to the wide receiver position. That ranks 21st. In the red zone, they give up 8 points a game. That ranks 22nd. And they give up 140 yards total to the position weekly. And this is a perfect matchup again here. I expect DJ Moore, Keenan Allen to eat again here in this game. It just depends on how Caleb Williams makes it look. He's just been a roller coaster ride of, I can't explain it. Jaden Daniel looks 10 times better, but yeah, I'm still gonna put him up here because the matchup is just too good. Number 17, guys, Chris Olave gets Monday Night Football here, and Chris Olave gets the Kansas City Chiefs. And I think I did Drake London wrong there. Drake London gets Tampa Bay. Sorry, guys. So on Drake London, I'm pumping out so much content, I'm dropping the wrong thing. Let's back it up to Drake London here. Tampa Bay ranks 10th versus the wide receiver, 27.3 points per game, 4.5 in the red zone. That ranks 12th, 121 yards per game. I still think Drake London is going to feast in this game. Now, Chris Olave versus the Chiefs that I already talked about, I still think is going to eat in this game because, like I said, the Chiefs aren't going to have the same offense. They're not going to be the juggernaut without Rashee Rice out there. That guy's a target monster. Travis Kelce did wake up a little bit, but now defenses can just flat out blanket Travis Kelce. So, I mean, who are they going to worry about? Juju Smith-Schuster, Justin Watson, Sky Moore. None of that's going to matter, really. So, Chris Olave's opportunities should be there in bunches, and I have him at wide receiver 17. Headed to number 18, the guy that I told everyone to start, the guy that I told everyone to buy low on, the time is now. Justin Fields just opened up the Pittsburgh Steelers offense, 300-plus yards passing. Justin Fields dropped 30 points last week with 2 rushing touchdowns. George Pickens saw targets galore. He had that fumble, which was kind of crazy on the sideline, which hurt his points, but still, he absolutely ate in the game. And now George Pickens is going to get the Dallas Cowboys this week. And the Dallas Cowboys currently, right now, ranked 15th versus the wide receiver position, 31.9, 6.8 points per game in the red zone. That's 20th, and they give up 144 yards. And they just had Micah Parsons and Lawrence was just placed on IR. This defense took a major hit in the win versus the Giants, and the opportunity should be there in bunches for George Pickens as well. Number 19, and this one's starting to fade on me, man. I don't know if the Ravens are just going full run-heavy offense here or what is going on. But Zay Flowers was seeing 10 targets a game for the first 2 games, and now he's seen 3 targets a game from weeks 3 and 4 and only has 30 yards receiving. And Mark Andrews is a ghost. Isaiah Likely is a ghost. It is the Derrick Henry show. This is going to be probably my last time putting Zay Flowers on here at all. So I still like him because I think the volume will be there. But you get the Cincinnati Bengals. Bengals rank 13th versus the wide receiver, 31.2, 3.9 in the red zone, ranks 11th. They give up 135.5 yards a game. And it could be here for Zay. This could be a game where he breaks out, like after a breakout to start, then a slump. I don't want to see the roller coaster ride. I want consistency here, and I want to see Zay bounce back this week. I have him at wide receiver 19. Number 20 is going to be Deontay Johnson. This guy is on a rampage, guys. It is out of control. I mean, I called it. The instant Andy Dalton got put into the lineup, I was like, here comes Deontay Johnson. Start them both, no matter what. Averaging 23 points with Andy Dalton in the freaking lineup, averaging 13.5 targets per game with him in the lineup and 100 yards a game and a touchdown per game. I know you get a tough matchup with the Chicago Bears here. The Bears defense is good all around. I mean, versus the pass, right now they rank sixth at 25.4 points per game. They've given up 0 in the red zone, so the red zone touchdown is going to be really tough to come by. And they give up 132.5 yards per game to the wide receiver position. But, man, with the amount of targets Deontay Johnson is seeing, he's startable either way. Heading into number 21 here, got a little bounce back. Got a little juice back from Michael Pittman here. I know it's because Joe Flacco was out there, and Joe Flacco does this every time. He elevates every wide receiver once he comes back. He saw 9 targets in the game. He had 113 yards. But it looks like Anthony Richardson may be back this week. He's day-to-day right now with injuries, so make sure you stay up to date with that. But you get the Jacksonville Jaguars, guys. This is like the perfect matchup for Michael Pittman right here. The Jaguars ranked 28th versus the wide receiver, 42.3. They give up 5 points per game in the red zone. That ranks 15th, and they give up 193.5 yards to the wide receiver position. This is a perfect game for Michael Pittman to feast. I love him as a wide receiver to start this week. Sticking with the Jamar Chase thing, I already talked about the Baltimore Ravens defense. They funnel to the pass. This is a great position again as well here for T. Higgins to smash in this game. And T. Higgins popped off last week. They found a little connection again. Him and Jamar Chase both found the end zone last week. And T. Higgins, look, he saw 10 targets last week, man. Or he didn't find the end zone. Sorry, he saw 10 targets, 12 points, still had 60 yards. And it looks like the injury is behind him, and he's going to be a smash wide receiver 2 play the rest of the way here, especially with this being a game where the Bengals aren't going to be able to run much. The Ravens' run D is absolutely lights out, guys. Number 23 is going to be Terry Scary F1 McLaurin, who has found a connection with JD5. It is unbelievable how good Jaden Daniels looks, guys. I mean, talk about a league winner, dude. He might be QB1 as a rookie right now. It's absolutely crazy. But the matchup is not good here. You get the Cleveland Browns. Their run D is very good. Their pass D is middle of the pack. They rank 17, 32.6. But here's where Scary Terry has his big opportunity is the red zone. They rank 26th in the red zone, giving up 9 points a game. And they also give up 125.8 yards per game to the wide receiver position. But the connection is growing. I still like Terry as a wide receiver 2 play, possible flex play if you need. And even though it's a tough matchup, Jaden Daniels looks so good. That's the only reason I have him low is because they're playing the Browns. Oh, my God. Heading down to tier 4. Let's talk about them both. It's so sad, man. The Miami Dolphins, all their stars are crumbled right now. Von Achane, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle. It's just absolutely nightmarish with Tyler Huntley or Skylar Thompson or Boyle or whoever they bring in is going to be quarterback. I mean, you saw underthrows, you saw overthrows, you saw missed throws, you saw panic, everything. I'm honestly almost to the point where you can't start these guys, but it's Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. So I'm still going to leave them in the top 32. But man, at least we got some good news on Tua. He's supposed to be coming back week 8, looks in good health. But it's really, really tough on what to do with these guys if you want to trade them or hold them, because the value you drafted him for, you're not going to get for him. So it's kind of like a hold and just eat it right now is the tough thing. So we talked about Stephon Diggs. We talked about Keenan Allen heading down to one of my favorite matchups this week. And yes, I have Brian Thomas Jr. over Christian Kirk this week. And they get the Indianapolis Colts, guys. I mean, this is absolute gold here for BTJ. Why? Because the Indianapolis Colts struggle in the red zone. They rank 30th. They give up 10 points a game. BTJ's 6'4" body should absolutely smash. They also rank 25th versus the wide receiver, giving up 36.2 points per game and 163 yards a game to the wide receiver position. So this is going to be an absolute smash BTJ game here. Trevor Lawrence finally gets a get right kind of like lucky game. I don't say lucky game, but game where he's not playing a top defense, man. The Jags have had a very tough schedule to start as well. And I think this is a monster BTJ game coming here. We already talked about Tank Dell heading down to tier 5 here. Now, I want to do all 5 of these together. So my first one in tier 5 is Rashid Shaheed. My second one is Xavier Worthy. And my fourth one is Jamison Williams. Now, what do you notice? All these guys are boom or bust plays right here, right? So even when I look at the defenses, so say I'm looking at Rashid Shaheed and the Saints, right? And they're going up against the Kansas City Chiefs, like I talked about with Chris Olave. How many home run balls are they really going to get with Rashid Shaheed? You're really hoping for one. He's seen enough volume where it's like 3 to 4, and Xavier Worthy's kind of the same way. His targets are still low. He has never even seen a game over 5 targets. And Jamison Williams last night takes 1 catch for 80 yards. So all these guys, these last 3, these are kind of guys like when they pop, you sell them to me. That's how I look at it. Like Jamison Williams just popped, I'd be trying to sell. Xavier Worthy kind of popped, I'd be trying to sell. Well, Xavier Worthy, I don't know if I'd be selling because we got to see what happens with the Chiefs room. But it's just players I don't like to hold because you always have that choice in your head of, do I play this guy or do I not? Do I hit the home run? Do I take the 0? So I have Rashid Shaheed, Xavier Worthy, and Jamison Williams as 29, 30, and 32. And Jalen Waddle, we talked about 31. It is very, very rough for the Miami Dolphins right now, man. It's sad. That is it for episode 76, guys. Thanks for rocking with me today. That is my wide receiver tier rankings, top 32. Remember the teams that are on a bye. Get those guys out of your lineups, guys. And before we head out of here, make sure you smash that like. Make sure you smash that subscribe. Turn that bell on so you know when I'm live. And again, guys, if you don't make any of the lives, drop any comments, questions you have in there. I try to get to them all in fantasy football. I try to help you guys win your weekly matchups and get you that ultimate goal of the championship, guys. And if you guys want to check out my defense and kickers, those are out. Quarterbacks, running backs are out. My waiver wire for tonight, guys, is also out if you want to check that video as well. I cannot thank you guys enough for all the support, man. It's been an awesome journey, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. I'm doing my tight end rankings next, guys, and that is it for today. And then tomorrow will be my stardom, sit-ems, every matchup, every position, and I'll catch you in the next one, man. SleezBall out.